Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're delving deep into the complex history of the Israel-Lebanon conflict, specifically focusing on Israel's invasions of Lebanon. This ongoing and multifaceted conflict has its roots in a variety of political, religious, and territorial disputes that have escalated over decades. In this video, we'll break down the key events that shaped this conflict and explore the profound impact it has had on the Middle East. So, let's get started. Early tensions between Israel and Lebanon. The tensions between Israel and Lebanon date back to the creation of Israel in 1948. Lebanon, like many Arab states, did not recognize Israel's legitimacy, and the years that followed were filled with border skirmishes and hostilities. Lebanon, despite its complex religious composition, became a hub for Palestinian refugees, many of whom were displaced during the Arab-Israeli War. This influx of refugees, combined with the presence of Palestinian militant groups, placed Lebanon in a precarious position between Israeli retaliation and domestic instability. The situation grew more tense as the Palestinian Liberation Organization PLO began to operate from southern Lebanon, launching attacks on Israel. This set the stage for a series of military responses by Israel, culminating in invasions. The 1978 invasion, Operation Litani. In March 1978, Israel launched its first significant invasion of Lebanon, known as Operation Litani. This military campaign was initiated in response to a terrorist attack carried out by Palestinian militants that left 38 Israelis dead. Israel's objective was to push the PLO and other Palestinian factions away from its northern border. By taking control of southern Lebanon up to the Litani River, Israeli forces succeeded in occupying this area, but the international community, led by the United Nations, quickly responded. The UN established the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, UNIFIL, and pressured Israel to withdraw. Although Israel pulled back its forces, southern Lebanon remained a battleground, with armed groups continuing to clash along the border. The 1982 invasion, Operation Peace for Galilee. The most significant invasion came in 1982. During what is known as Operation Peace for Galilee, Israel's primary goal was to eliminate the PLO from Lebanon entirely, following the attempted assassination of Israel's ambassador to the UK, which was linked to Palestinian militants. This invasion was massive, involving over 100,000 Israeli troops, and the siege of Beirut, Lebanon's capital. The conflict was brutal, with heavy casualties on both sides, and it resulted in widespread devastation across Lebanon. Israeli forces succeeded in expelling the PLO leadership, which relocated to Tunisia, but the occupation of southern Lebanon continued. The 1982 invasion also marked the rise of Hezbollah, a Shiite militant group that formed in response to Israel's occupation and would become a significant player in future conflicts. The long occupation and withdrawal in 2000. Israel's occupation of southern Lebanon lasted for nearly 2 decades. During this period, Hezbollah waged a guerrilla war against Israeli forces, often supported by Syria and Iran. The conflict took a heavy toll on both Israeli soldiers and Lebanese civilians. Over time, the Israeli public grew increasingly weary of the ongoing occupation, which seemed to offer little strategic gain and was draining national resources. In 2000, after years of pressure and mounting casualties, Israel made the decision to withdraw its forces from Lebanon. The withdrawal was hailed as a victory for Hezbollah and significantly boosted its reputation in the region. However, the withdrawal did not bring peace, as the border remained tense and clashes continued sporadically. The 2006 Lebanon War. Despite the withdrawal in 2000, hostilities between Israel and Hezbollah continued to simmer, eventually boiling over in 2006. The conflict, often referred to as the 2006 Lebanon War, began after Hezbollah launched a cross-border raid, killing 3 Israeli soldiers and capturing 2. Israel responded with a massive air and ground assault aimed at crippling Hezbollah's military capabilities. The 34-day war resulted in extensive destruction in Lebanon, especially in Beirut's southern suburbs, and significant civilian casualties. On the Israeli side, Hezbollah fired thousands of rockets into northern Israel, causing widespread fear and damage. The war ended with a UN-brokered ceasefire, but the core issues remained unresolved, and the Israel-Lebanon border remains one of the most volatile in the Middle East. Conclusion: the history of Israel's invasions of Lebanon is a testament to the complexity and volatility of Middle Eastern politics. What began as a response to attacks from Palestinian militants has evolved into a broader conflict involving regional powers, militias, and international forces. While the invasions and subsequent wars have shaped the political landscape of both nations, they have also left deep scars on the people of Israel and Lebanon. The conflict continues to cast a long shadow over the region, making peace elusive.